Growing up, I lived in a small, quiet town surrounded by dense woods. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other and nothing ever really happened. But there was one summer, one night, that changed everything. It's a memory I've tried to bury, but it always finds its way back to me. This is the story of what happened to me when I was 12 years old. A story I've never told anyone until now. It was late August, and the air was thick with humidity. My best friend, Jake, and I had been camping in the woods behind my house. We'd done it 100 times before. It was our little tradition, just two kids, a tent, and a campfire. But that night, something felt off. The woods were quieter than usual. No owls, no rustling leaves. Just this heavy, oppressive silence. We were roasting marshmallows when we heard it. A twig snapping, like someone or something was stepping closer. Jake laughed it off, said it was probably a deer. But I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. I kept glancing over my shoulder into the darkness. And then, I saw it. A pair of eyes reflecting the firelight. Just for a second, before they disappeared. Jake didn't see it. He thought I was messing with him. But I knew what I saw. We tried to brush it off, but the mood had shifted. The fire didn't feel warm anymore. The woods felt alive. Like they were watching us. We decided to call it a night and go to sleep. Big mistake. I don't know how long I slept before I woke up. It was still dark, but the fire had died down to embers. And then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, circling the tent. I froze. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure whatever was out there could hear it. Jake was still asleep, snoring softly. I wanted to wake him, but I couldn't move. I just lay there, listening as the footsteps got closer and closer. And then, they stopped. Right outside the tent. I could hear breathing, shallow, ragged breaths. My mind was racing. Was it an animal? A person? I didn't know. All I knew was that I had to do something. So, I grabbed my flashlight and unzipped the tent, just enough to peek outside. What I saw, I'll never forget it. Standing there, just a few feet away, was a figure. Tall, thin, and completely still. Its face was hidden in shadow, but I could feel its eyes on me. And then, it tilted its head. Like it was studying me. I slammed the tent shut and woke Jake up, screaming at him that we had to leave. He didn't argue. We grabbed our stuff and ran, no flashlight, no shoes, just ran. We didn't stop until we reached my house. My parents were furious when we burst in, covered in dirt and scratches. They thought we were just being reckless kids. But Jake and we knew better. We never went back to those woods. Not even during the day. Years later, I asked Jake if he remembered that night. He said he did, but he didn't like talking about it. He told me something he'd never mentioned before. That night when we were running, he looked back. And he saw it, the figure, standing at the edge of the woods, watching us. He said it looked like it was smiling. To this day, I don't know what we saw. A person? Something else? The authorities never found anything. No footprints, no signs of an intruder. But I know what I saw. And I know it was real. Sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I think about that figure. And I wonder, is it still out there? Watching, waiting,